years ago, I attended a retreat. The picture that you saw on Facebook on this event with me blindfolded was taken during that event. In the second day, we had the outdoor day, which was very interesting. We had 3 challenges, and one of them was to climb on the top of a wooden beam around 3 meters high, find the balance, and then slowly stand up on the beam without holding anything, without leaning on anything, without any support. Then jump and catch a tripod that was hanging somewhere in the air. The whole task was done blindfolded. The sense that we usually rely the most, seeing, was unavailable. So I had to rely on the other senses. Let me tell you, because the sense of seeing wasn't available for this task, it was easier because I couldn't evaluate visually the situation. The only way to fulfill this task was to find relaxation and calm in a terrifying and dangerous situation. Imagine yourself standing on a beam that has the height of the 2nd level of the building where you live. And that the space where you stand, it's smaller than your 2 feet put together. And you are calm, enjoying the fresh air, and you did this without any training or special exercise. How was this possible? I am scientifically passionate about the brain. I grew up in a small village in Romania where I had many opportunities to test the limits of the brain, and later through education I understood why some things worked and why some other things were a disaster. Let's see the 3 facts that made that experience possible without any training or special exercise. The first one. When I was a teenager in high school, I had a hard time fitting in the group. I was living with other 7 girls in the same room in a boarding school. And to create more comfort in the chaotic world I was living, I started to create an imaginary world. So I was daydreaming about an ideal world for many hours every day. After a few weeks of living in that imaginary world, I started to be confused. The problem was that I got at a point when I wasn't able to make the difference between real world and the world I was living in. And that the experiences that I was having in my imaginary world and the real world, and I started to ask myself and to doubt myself if I really knew some people or not, or if I had some certain experiences or not. That was the point when I made a conscious decision to stop daydreaming and to come with my feet on the ground. The lesson from that situation is the first fact. The brain doesn't make the difference between what is real and what is fantasy. And the majority of our fears and doubts are imaginary. In the situation with the beam, without being able to see, I could control the fear and redirect my attention easily on the senses that were available. The second fact. Let's see this. When we eat something bad, the stomach gives us feedback. We all had some unpleasant experiences when we ate something bad and our stomach told us that that type of food wasn't a good idea. Our brain is very stupid. It doesn't tell us when we give it poison or negative words. The brain takes everything, processes it, and gets some results. Ford said that Even if you believe if you can do it or not, you are right. The brain can't make the difference if the food we give it is bad or not. It's our choice what we put in. And the third fact is this one. Let's think of our skin. Our skin is replaced for the whole body in average every between 47 and 48 days. In this process, nobody has a patch without skin and waiting for the skin to grow. This process is a continuous replacement process. We don't notice when this is happening, because, for example, it's just happening now when we are talking. The same thing happens with our neurons in our brain. For some parts of the brain, 20% of the neurons are replaced every 24 hours. It depends. Do we replace the connections in our brain with the same connections or with new ones? When we replace the connections with the same connections, the actions we are doing are turning into habits. They become more stronger. My question is, if the brain has this huge level of flexibility, what stays in our way to achieve what we want? But this is another discussion. When people around us tell us you can't do it, or you are too old, or it's not for you, they just rewrite their own connections in their brains, and that belief becomes stronger. But we have our own choice. When I was climbing on the beam 3 years ago, the only thing I had in my mind was just one more step. Breathe and stay calm. Just one more step. Breathe and stay calm. Feel the air. Listen to the birds. You can do it. Imagine the next perfect step. See it before you do it. And yes, it worked. The brain is designed to do it. I gave my brain a certain type of food for that situation, and it worked. It was powerful. If it worked for me, everyone can do it.